Hey, welcome back, everybody. Break the Board Sports. John here with you, coming off of a little bit of a rough NFL weekend. Dogs going 8-7 here in the NFL. Some big games where just teams just falling apart. Of course, we had the Yankees in game one, 3-2, 2 outs. I'll never forget the grand slam by Freddie Freeman. One, it was a great sports moment. But second, it cost us a lot of money. So on to the next with that one. Yesterday, we were able to pick up 0.36 of a unit. We had the single unit on the Philadelphia Flyers. They fell 4-3 in hockey. But we had the Colorado Avalanche for a double unit. So minus the 164 for the Flyers and then the 2 units on the Avalanche. So we pick up 0.36 unit. That's after an incredible Saturday where we were 7-0, all double unit winners. So we picked up 15.2. So on the weekend, 15.48 units, very much needed because I was in the hole like 9. So definitely an upgrade there. When you look at the weekend college football, Friday, Boston College plus 7.5. That got across the finish line. We lost the double unit, though, on UNLV. We had them plus 4.5. They lose by 5. Just an absolute heartbreaker there. So on Friday, we were down 1.5 units. And then as Saturday rolled along, we had the win with North Texas, the loss with Washington plus 7. Hats off to Indiana. Just what they're doing is absolutely phenomenal. Coach transferring from my neck of the woods, JMU. What he's doing with that program is just absolutely incredible. So huge shout out to him. Central Florida, it was really just a numbers play going against the public. Got bit there really well. BYU, let me tell you something. BYU's the real deal. The real deal. So that loss there put us down 1.6 units. Oklahoma State put us down 2.7 total because we lost them. We had them plus 7.5. We lost the Illinois plus 21.5. That put us down 3.8. Wisconsin, one that I thought we had in the bag, plus 7. Obviously, Penn State's quarterback goes down. I thought we were in a much better spot there. Didn't end up being that way for us whatsoever on that one. So that put us down to 5 units. Kentucky on the money line, they put us down. That put us down 6.2 units. But then we started rolling. We had Duke plus 12, double unit. Hawaii money line, double unit. So after all the smoke cleared, college football, we were down 2.2 units. So for the weekend, in all, we ended up down 3.7 units in college football. Not a really good showing. Now, we do have the money line parlay where we have the Colorado Buffaloes and the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. That's still on the docket. We'll get into that in just a little bit. NFL, Jaguars plus 4.5. They get across the finish line to cash for us. Cincinnati Bengals money line minus 145. That was not a winner. Joe Burrow and them, they go right down the field. They hold the ball for like 11 minutes on the first drive, and I'm thinking, man, we're going to be in great shape. And then they fall apart. Cincinnati, I said this last night laying in bed. Between the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals, the amount of money I've lost has been absolutely incredible. Can't bet those teams. Don't want none to do with them. We have Bucks plus 3.5. Really thought that was going to get there. Again, that was more of a play against the public. Seattle Seahawks. Listen, I don't want to hear anything else about Geno Smith. How he has a job in the NFL is beyond me. Guy had one good year. He's right back to where he was. He sucked at West Virginia. He sucked with the New York Jets. He's a less than mediocre quarterback. Nothing will ever change that. I don't want to hear about Seattle making the playoffs. I don't want to hear about none of that. They have maybe the best wide receiver core as a group. I mean, when you talk about Metcalf, Lockett, and Jigba, even Noah Fant at tight end, right? Kenneth Walker, who's a beast. Charbonnet, who's a beast in the backfield. Seattle has weapons. They just have a horrific quarterback. They have a 30th ranked quarterback, in my opinion. Like, I'd rather have Bryce Young. That's how bad Geno Smith is. So, and Seahawks fell, but then we got winners with the Raiders. Cowboys fell, but then the teasers came home for us. We covered the Bucks Panthers teaser. The Jets Commanders teaser fell apart for us. Commanders cover. And then our 10-pointer of the week, Panthers, Cowboys, Lions cashes. So all in all, in football, we ended up down 5.94 units for the week. Just not a good week in football for us. Now tonight, you have the New York Giants. They're going to be facing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Since 1992, Steelers 21-1 straight up in home Monday Night Football games. Their only loss came to Washington back in 2020, thanks to Action Network there. Daniel Jones, 1-15 straight up and 6-10 ATS his career in night games. He's 1-7 straight up on the road at night. When you look at the betting splits on this, thanks to DraftKings, Pittsburgh is a 6-point favorite. They're demanding 83% of the ticket count, 78% of the money. Giants coming with 17% of the bets, 22% of the money. Your over-under sets at 36.5. A lot of people hopping on the over. 73% of tickets going by that way. Money line a little too high if you want to lay that with Pittsburgh. You are at a minus 280. Listen, if you're just going to fade the public blindly and take the Giants, I wouldn't. I just don't know how you can do that. Pittsburgh's defense is elite. I know the Giants have did some really good things. Now, in fairness, the Giants defense hasn't been bad. Giants defense has been really, really good. 5-2 against the spread are the Steelers on the season. 3-4 ATS are the New York Football Giants on the season. I'm just trying to get some things pulled up here so we're ready to go for you. So what I did with this game, obviously I got Colorado and Pittsburgh, that money line parlay. I'm still waiting on the Pittsburgh part, but I like the Steelers to win the game, but I'm not interested in laying 5.5. You'll find that at FanDuel. I'm not interested in laying 6, which you'll find at BetMGM or DraftKings. But what I am interested in is, okay, the play I love tonight, and I love it because it's just, if they don't win, it's over, is the New York Yankees, right? I like the New York Yankees a lot. Not a big Schmidt fan, but listen, if the Yankees lose this and go down 3-0, they're not coming back on the Dodgers. I don't want to hear it. It's over. If the Yankees are going to win a game in this series, just conventional thinking, and maybe it's a square play, but if they're going to win this game, they're going to win game 3. So if you take the Yankees minus $1.45, you put them with the Steelers in a money line parlay, it's actually plus $1.30. I'm going to do that tonight for a double unit, try to get a little bit of get back for us. So Steelers and Yankees there on the double unit play. Diving into some other stuff for you here as far as the New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers game, just going down in my notes. Again, you can go to breaktheboardsports.com. We're going to be here every Monday and Friday, 9:30 Eastern time till about 11. Again, Jets and Giants, New York is just absolutely horrific since 2019, 4-32 straight up. Russell Wilson looked very good last week against the New York Jets. Obviously, the second half, they really surged there. Wilson, over his career, 24-7-3 against the spread in night games in his career. It's been a great mark. That's the best mark in the NFL since his time. So Russell Wilson, ATS, best in the National Football League. When you look at some other things here, the New York Giants flipping over. The defense, like I was talking about, the defensive line has really stepped up for the Giants. They've been able to do some really, really good things. But again, Daniel Jones is the question. He was pulled last week, reinserted, because then they realized, backup quarterback Drew Lock, he stinks as well. Giants 3-7 straight up, 5-4-1 ATS their last 10. Now head to head, last time these two teams met was 2020. The last 3 meetings, Pittsburgh has dominated them all, 26-16, 24-14, and then it was somewhat close back in 2012 with a 24-20 game. Again, I'm going to take plus $1.30, and we're going to take the Yankees and the Steelers in a money line parlay. that's going to be how we deal with tonight's football game. I know a lot of you are into these same game parlays and all that stuff. That's too much for me to get involved in. But I think if you adjusted the line, it won't let you do a teaser in some books with the team and the over-under. However, if you can do some alternative lines, you get the same thing. I think taking basically a 6-point teaser, you take Pittsburgh down to pick, and then you would take the over-under under 42.5, maybe cheat a little bit, get it under 43.5. You might have to lay $1.25-ish or so, but I think that's great value as well. Looking again to the New York Yankees, Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers up 2-0 in the series. I had the Yankees game 1. Game 2, I took off, which I'm very thankful I took off because I would have took the Yankees again. And listen, it's not that I think the Yankees are so much better. I think the Dodgers lineup is clearly better. I'm just not a believer in the Dodgers pitching staff. But listen, it's came alive, and now Walker Buehler gets the call for the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. For the New York Yankees, you're going to have Clark Schmidt on the bump. Yankees laying anywhere from $1.42 to $1.50, depending on where you shop for your shoes. We're just going to go ahead and say Buehler's plus 125 on the comeback. Your over-under is set at 8.5. Again, Dodgers up 2-0 in this. Now, Walker Buehler in his last 5 starts, 3-2 with a 4.26 ERA. His last outing was against the Mets back on October 16th. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. So he pitched really, really well, was able to do some really good things. And then before that, October 8th against the Padres, though, he got bombed, 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned for Walker Buehler. Clark Schmidt, on the other hand, he's had 11 days rest to get ready for this thing. He's 2-3 with a 4.56. His last 2 outings, he's given up 2 runs in each. 2 runs against the Royals in the wild card round, 2 runs against in the division round, 2 runs given up in his matchup with the Cleveland Indians. So Clark Schmidt, again, this is purely just a play out of if the Yankees don't win, it's over, right? If they go down 3-0. So not a whole lot of Zen handicapping deep dive. It's just, hey, look, if they lose, 100% the series is absolutely over, is where I'm going with that. So I'm going to lay the Yankees Steelers in the money line parlay for a double unit, and then I'm going to take the Yankees for a single unit. Now, look, this stuff with Shohei Ohtani, that's a little concerning as far as where his health status and all is going to be. Don't have anything to report on that, but I think as time goes on, we really need to look into that. Make sure you're keeping up with all your news. Again, you can go to breaktheboardsports.com. You can sign up for our weekly package. It's free the first week. After that, it's $10.99 for the week. You'll get notes to help you on all your handicapping. Site was a little messed up last week, so I do apologize with me being out. But now we're back ready to rock and roll. So today you'll start seeing those notes pop up. Please, if it's your first time, everything this week, hockey, college football, the Monday and Thursday night game, and even NBA, World Series, those notes I'm going to put up and they'll be completely visible. Typically, that stuff is just for people that are on a paid package, but please go in, check it out. Tonight in the association for the NBA, again, right now on the NBA season, a little slow out of the gates. 1-2 is our record. Tonight, you got the Pacers, Indiana Pacers at the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic are laying 7 here tonight in Orlando. Get back here. Last 10 meetings have been split. Past 4 meetings have been split. Now, right now, the Pacers, they're coming off a loss. Orlando, again, 2-1 out the chute. Mathurin back for Indiana has played really, really well. He's been really lights out, so kudos to him. I like Indiana in this spot +7. Not sure if I'm going to give it out as a play, but listen, I think if you're going to play this game, you definitely got to go by way of the Indiana Pacers. A game that I am looking at tonight, and let me just refresh the lines here, that when I was going through games and just kind of sifting through them last night, that I thought was really good spot. The Lakers beat the Suns the other night. Now the Suns laying 3.5, -155 on the money line. That money line's jumped up. It was $1.42 last night. I should have bet at them. But listen, Phoenix is 6-1 straight up their last 7 games in Phoenix against LA. So though LA plays well, I do like Phoenix at home. I do love when two teams play on a back-to-back, pretty much when they're back-to-back games, even if there's a day off of rest. I like to go with the side that lost, depending on the juice, the movement. $1.55 is a little bit higher than I want to play in an NBA game. I hate laying points in the NBA. That's a dangerous proposition. And of course, Grayson Allen's questionable. Bradley Beal's questionable. But a play I'm going to give out tonight and I'm going to ride is going to be the Phoenix Suns. Now, look, again, 2-5 straight up their last 7 games. 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games versus an opponent from the Pacific. But they're 8-3 straight up their last 11 in October. So October, generally, they play pretty well. But the bigger stat, again, 6-1 straight up versus the Lakers when they play in Phoenix. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the Phoenix Suns tonight on the money line. That's going to be a play that we roll with tonight. Another one I got my eye on, money line minus $1.40. The undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers 3-0 travel into the 1-1 New York Knickerbockers. Right now, New York 2.5. You're over under 222 and a half is the line on this one. Now, look, Cleveland 5-0 against the spread their last 5 games. But again, we talk about trends head to head. They mean something. Cleveland Cavaliers 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games against the Knicks, and 1-5 straight up. Knicks right now, you can get on the money line anywhere from $1.38 to $1.45. So the Knicks are going to be our second play in the association tonight. So we're going to have Suns on the money line minus 155. We're going to go ahead and call the Knicks minus 142 on the money line. Now, Cleveland is 4-1 ATS their last 5 on the road, and they are 6-1 ATS their last 7 games versus an Eastern Conference opponent. The Knicks, again, 2-5 straight up their last 7, but I love much more the fact they've dominated Cleveland at home. And at home, the Knicks 9-2 straight up their last 11 games. Madison Square Garden has seemed to be a cozy place for them. Again, they're going through a lot of changes too with Karl Anthony Towns coming over, but the Knicks just got way too much talent. I know the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got Donovan Mitchell and company, some good stuff there, but I'm going to roll with the New York Knicks tonight. So we're going to have Suns and Knicks so far in the association. Not going to give out the Indiana Pacers, though. I do have a lean towards them. Another game tonight, I like Denver to get off the schneid. The Denver Nuggets, they are winless so far on the season. They travel to the Toronto Raptors, but Denver laying 9. Not interested in laying 9 on the road, but I do think they nabbed the win here. If you want to find somebody to kind of parlay them with. Denver 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games, but they're 5-2 straight up their last 7 when they travel north of the border to Canada. 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games overall, but Denver 9-3 against the spread their last 12 games on the road north of the border in Toronto. 9-3 ATS are the Denver Nuggets, but again, I'm just not a guy that's going to lay 9 in the association. Something that you can do for you guys that constantly have your phones in your hand and you're always itching to make a bet. NBA live betting is, to me, the best live betting there is. If you get a team, let's say the Nuggets are laying 9, right? And for whatever reason, Toronto's up 7, you can maybe get the Nuggets -3 or a pick or somewhere in there. There's always good opportunities. Or, hey, you got the Charlotte Hornets, right? They're down 10, but they were catching 10, but now they're down 28-30 at the half. Remember, everybody makes a run in the NBA. So if you find some of these second quarter or halftime lines where a team's up 20 plus and the other team's only laying 3 to 5 points max, to where they're still catching +22, +25. I saw it a couple times last year, getting +33 for the game. They're down 38 and they're laying 4 at the second half or whatever. Those are good opportunities to look and bet. I think live betting is one of the best ways to play the NBA. Last year, had a lot of success, up 28.17 units in the NBA, which is very hard to do. It'll drive you nuts. But again, you have to look for angles and opportunities. And I always think live betting or betting off the half, one of the best routes to go in the association. The Atlanta Hawks, they're going to be laying 7.5 to the Wizards at home. Milwaukee and Boston. Get my screen back up here. Milwaukee and Boston, another one tonight. Boston laying 9.5. They've looked absolutely incredible. Now, Chris Middleton is still out for the Milwaukee Bucks, but they still got Giannis and Lillard and company. Now, Milwaukee, they're only 2-6 straight up their last 8 games, but against Boston, little different. 4-1 against the spread their last 5, despite being 3-6 straight up. So 3-6 straight up against Boston, but they're 4-1 ATS the last 5. Milwaukee 1-7 straight up on the road their last 8, and 1-5 straight up their last 6 games on the road in Boston. Now, the Bucks here though catching 9.5. I can get down with that, so I'm going to take the points with the Bucks. Listen, if the Bucks can't get up for the Celtics, they can't get up for anybody. So that's going to round out our trifecta from the ARC today. We're going to go 3 plays in the NBA. We're going to go Suns money line minus 155, Knicks money line minus 142, and then the Milwaukee Bucks plus 9.5 minus 110 is going to be where we go on that for the day. We're also going to have for you again double unit money line parlay with the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Yankees plus $1.30, along with taking the New York Yankees themselves minus 145 for a single unit. A couple other games in the NBA. Detroit Pistons travel to the undefeated Miami Heat. Pistons catching 8.5. Your over-unders 220. Chi-Town Bulls at the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies will be laying 7. Your over-under 233.5. Portland travels to Sacramento. Sacramento looking to get in the win column for the first time this season. They're going to be laying 12.5. Over-under 229.5. Houston at the San Antonio Spurs. Rockets laying 2.5. Now, Spurs beat them the other night. Again, this is that same case. So if I was going to play the game, I would lay Houston on the money line if I was going to play this one. San Antonio eked out the win the other night against them. Now they're playing again in San Antonio. Both teams there obviously staying a back-to-back in San Antonio. So if I had to play the game here, I would take the Rockets on the money line. And then Utah at Dallas. Dallas laying 11. Your over-under in that game is 232 and a half. Switching over to the NHL tonight, again, we had the Avalanche with the double unit winner last night. Single unit loss on the Philadelphia Flyers. Tonight, you have the Edmonton Oilers at the Columbus Blue Jackets. You're over under 6.5. Edmonton laying $2.50. The Columbus Blue Jackets plus $2 on the comeback in this one. Edmonton 4-2 straight up their last 6 games, 1-4 straight up their last 5 games against Columbus. So despite the Oilers having all that, when I see 1-4 and this team's laying 250 on the road, I would take the home ice with the Columbus Blue Jackets plus $2. Edmonton 3-8 straight up their last 11 on the road against Columbus. 3-8 straight up the last 11 on the road. You're getting the Blue Jackets here at a plus $2 price. I think that's great value. Again, not going to be an official play, but there's a good lean there towards the Columbus Blue Jacket. Again, catching $2 in the National Hockey League. There, sorry. Let's see. Moving on in hockey tonight, you got the refresh San Jose Sharks. Florida Panthers at the Buffalo Sabres. You got Buffalo catching $1.30 on the comeback. Minus 150 is the Florida Panthers in that one. Nashville will travel to Tampa Bay. Nashville 3-5 on the year. Tampa Bay Lightning 5-3. Had the Lightning on Saturday and had the Nashville Predators on Saturday. So was able to get wins with both of those. Nashville 5-10 straight up their last 15, but the Predators just 1-5 their last 6 straight up against Tampa. Nashville games have went under the total 4 out of the last 5 games on the road. But the over between these two teams in the last 7 meetings, the over has hit 6 of the last 7 when these two teams have played in Tampa Bay as they are tonight. Tampa Bay 11-3 straight up their last 14 games against an opponent in the Western Conference, 4-1 straight up their last 5 at home. The Tampa Bay Lightning are definitely going to be a play tonight. I'm going to take them. I'm going to lay the $1.35 with the Lightning here. Feel like it's a great spot, great opportunity, great value. Chicago Blackhawks catching $2 at the Colorado Avalanche. Avalanche laying $2.50. You're over under 6.5. San Jose Sharks plus 220 on the comeback against the Utah Hockey Club that has been lights out. Now, San Jose still winless. They're 0-7. The Hockey Club, man, I just don't know what to make of this team. They just keep winning. Laying $2.70. You're over under 6. Another game I want to dig in and do a little bit more work tonight on the ice is the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Winnipeg Jets. Now, Toronto minus 105, Winnipeg Jets minus $1.15 in this one. But when you look in and you go head to head on this one, Maple Leafs 4-1, Winnipeg 8-0. Winnipeg yet to lose a game. They've been pretty stout. Now, Toronto 1-4 straight up their last 5, but they're 5-0 straight up the last 5 times they played the Winnipeg Jets. And Toronto 9-2 straight up their last 11 games on the road in Winnipeg. So when they went to Winnipeg 9-2 straight up their last 11, you're getting them at a minus 105 price. I'm going to take the Maple Leafs to get the Winnipeg Jets their first loss. So our second hockey play of the night is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs going minus 105 to go along with the Tampa Bay Lightning minus $1.35 tonight on the ice. Last game, Calgary Flames 5-2-1. They'll be going against the Vegas Knights 6-2-1. Vegas minus $1.90 plus 160 on the comeback for Calgary. Your over-under in this one sets at, let me refresh here. Over-under sets at 6.5 here. Calgary 8-4 straight up their last 12 games, 4-2 straight up their last 6 versus Vegas, but they're only 2-9 straight up the last 11 versus Vegas on the road. I was trying to make a case for Calgary here. To me, it's Calgary or nothing, but with that road record, not some I really want to hop on. So officially, we're just going to give out the 2 plays on the ice. We're going to give out the Calgary Flames, we're going to give out the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 105, and we're going to give out the Tampa Bay Lightning minus $1.35. NFL looking ahead for week number 10 here on Thursday night. This line opened up Jets -1. Then everybody realized Aaron Rodgers sucks, so it's flipped. Houston Texans now laying 1 and catching all the money, about 87% of the handle in bets over at DraftKings. Your over-under sets at 42.5. Again, I just can't foresee any situation for the rest of my life I will ever take Aaron Rodgers. So that's going to be a stay away. A couple other games here, run down through the card with lines, how they've moved or not. This was 3.5. Now it's down to 3. I'm not sure why Tennessee is laying 3 to New England. I'll either buy the hook back or wait and see if it goes back. But I just don't understand why Tennessee would be favored. I'll take the Patriots plus 3.5. Chargers laying 2 at the Browns. Browns had that big win yesterday against Baltimore. I stared at that all week and said, man, that's a lot of points for a division game. And if Cleveland wants to win any game, it's their division games. And then Jameis Winston. I mean, look, this just goes to show how bad Deshaun Watson is. I mean, it just is what it is. Guy's done, washed up, career over. But Jameis, we know he can put up points. Chargers, LA team, 1 o'clock game in Cleveland, a little chillier. Give me the Brownies plus 2. I like Cleveland next week. Saints laying 6.5 on the road at Carolina. Believe it or not, I got a slight lean to Carolina. I want to see how the week plays out, but slight lean to Carolina. Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo laying 6.5. I keep stepping in front of the Bills and keep getting stampeded So I'm just going to do away with that one right now and store that away. Nobody I want to get involved with on that one. Dallas at Atlanta. Dallas catching 2.5. If I can get a 3, I will take the Cowboys, though I think they win the game outright. If Dallas, I mean, they're 3-4 right now. If Dallas loses at Atlanta, it's over. I mean, it's just over. And if they lose to Atlanta, I think Mike McCarthy, you might see him be gone already. Denver at Baltimore. Baltimore laying 9. I think the other thing we found out yesterday is Lamar Jackson is what he is. He's a phenomenal talent. He's an amazing player to watch. From a skill set, athletic ability, whether it's running or he does have a cannon, even though he's not accurate, like he's a wow factor. But Lamar Jackson, I just can't envision him hoisting a Lombardi. I just can't see it. I've tried. I like the guy. I want to see him do it, but he just always seems to not show up. Like you can run wild over, and we'll see it next week against Denver, right? They'll probably roll through Denver, but these games like the Browns and the Raiders or even the Chiefs aren't a good team. I know they're undefeated, but they're not. They're just seasoned, right? Chiefs aren't blowing anybody off, but like I can't envision Lamar going into Arrowhead and win a game in January. This is not going to happen. I don't even know if Lamar can go in and win a game in January in Buffalo, right? I have questions. I want to see this Ravens-Steelers game. It's always a war, but I really want to see this the way Pittsburgh's defense is playing. Baltimore's defense has been suspect all year long. We knew when Patrick Queen took a hike that was going to change, but Baltimore laying 9. They'll probably cover it. They'll probably blow out Denver, and everybody will be back to the wow factor and just say it's a blimp on the radio. On the radar. I don't think the Lamar game yesterday was a blimp on the radar. I think that's who he is. Who he is, he's going to wow you. He's going to be an MVP candidate every year. But just like Aaron Rodgers, when you're really needed or you should just roll through a team that's not very good, a la the Raiders, a la the Browns, he can't take care of business. So speaking of those Raiders, they're catching 7.5 at Cincinnati. Again, conventional wisdom would say it's probably like $1.50, $1.60, probably $1.60 for a money line parlay with the Ravens and the Bengals, or you lay $1.50 and do a 7-point teaser with the Bengals and Ravens. You would think you'd be safe there. But again, the Bengals, I just can't trust them jokers either. The Bengals and Jets, if it weren't for the Bengals and Jets, I am having one of the greatest seasons I've ever had from a financial standpoint. Those two teams have just broken my back. And I've made money, but not nearly what I should make because of those two teams. Both of them getting me again yesterday. Jets had in 4 different 2-team 7-point teasers, got destroyed. And then my biggest bet of the day was the Bengals on the money line. So I got hammered there as Philadelphia came from just took them behind the shed. Washington laying 3 at the Giants. Jalen Daniels has been absolutely electric. That Hail Mary. First of all, it couldn't happen on a nicer guy than that defensive back of the Bears. Did you see that goofball? What a corn pop. Like, that guy should be cut today. Like, again, that just goes to show the arrogance and not playing it all the way through. But Washington keeps finding ways to win, puts them at 6-2. They're pretty much in the driver's seat to make the playoffs. They just got to find 4 wins somewhere. I think 10-7 is definitely going to get you in. And what that did more than anything is that really put Dallas in a situation again. If Dallas loses to Atlanta this week, it's probably all over. But as crazy as this sounds, I like the Giants plus 3.5 next week at home. I don't think the Giants are going to win tonight. I like Pittsburgh a lot to win the game. I'm not laying 6, not laying 5.5. I'm parlaying them with the Yankees, but I do like Pittsburgh to win the game. But listen, just history, division game, and Washington keeps kind of, just doing enough to get by. I actually want to look at the Giants here, plus 3 in the hook. Bears at the Cardinals. This is a coin flip game to me, and hence the line Cardinals -1. Very much a pick'em situation in this game. But I think right now, if I had to pull the trigger, I would take the Cardinals. Again, the Bears just showed me, Caleb Williams, and Bears, we said this at the beginning. Bears should look good early because their schedule stinks. They have a last place schedule. When you have a last place schedule, it's easy to look good. Now, Washington's in the same boat, right? So when you see that, I just want to caution a little bit of fool's gold there, right? Let's not get over our heads, over our skis there. Let's call it what it is. Jacksonville at Philly. Philly laying 7. Right now, Philly starting to roll, starting to put it together. Again, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. They just got way too much talent. If Sirianni doesn't screw it up, they got 2 good coordinators. And then, again, Jalen Hurts, just don't screw up. You got Barkley in the backfield. You got Goddard. You got A.J. Brown. You got Devontae Smith, Jahad Dotson. Like, Philly's loaded, right? Like, Philly is loaded. When I look at, my only question is, can Hurts win you a game with his arm? I don't think he can. That's why I think Detroit's the best team in the NFC. Just like I think with San Francisco is never going to be able to get over the top because Brock Purdy's a really good game manager. And I hate using game manager because every quarterback's game manager, but Brock Purdy just continues not to come up when he needs to come up, right? So with that being said, I don't think the Niners, he's not a guy that I see hoisting a Lombardi. I think he's a guy that can be a franchise quarterback. He can get you into a couple NFC championship games. Maybe he fools around and gets in our Super Bowl. But that San Francisco 49ers team is getting old, a little long in the tooth. So I think if anything, the 49ers, unless they get on some magical roll this year, don't see them getting across the finish line. Los Angeles Rams catching 1 at Seattle. I actually like the Rams here. Look, I know they started off slow, but the Rams with a healthy Kupp and a healthy Nacua, in my opinion, is the best team in that division. I know their defense isn't as good as San Francisco's, but listen, Matthew Stafford is head and shoulders the best quarterback in that division, and I'm always going to take the best quarterback. I don't think Kyle Shanahan blows McVay out of the water from a head coach. I think they're pretty much neck and neck. So if I got tied for the best coach in the division and I got the best quarterback, if him and his receivers are healthy, screw the defense, right? I like the Rams. Give me the Rams +1. I really like the Rams. I'm a big fan of 2-team 7-point teasers. The very first one that popped out off the sheet for me this week was Vikings pick and Rams +8. Putting Baltimore in 1. Baltimore will bounce back. You get them -2 against Denver. I'm good with that one. So some good opportunities there. Game of the week, Jordan Love want to know where he's at on everything, but the Detroit Lions are going to Lambeau laying 5. Again, that's going to be your game of the week. In that one, really like the Detroit Lions and what they're doing. They've just been absolutely phenomenal. Now, listen, if I'm catching 5 with Jordan Love, that's one thing. If I'm catching 5 with Malik Willis, no thank you, right? Malik Willis, they were able to hide him for a couple of weeks. He's not beating Detroit. Detroit, again, a good suspect for a 6-point teaser, them and the Vikings. Speaking of the Vikings, laying 6.5 Sunday Night Football. What was that with Anthony Richardson? I need out of the game because I'm tired. You're tired? They drafted you to be the franchise quarterback and you're tired? Just absolutely unbelievable. The things that happen, I can't wrap my head around. Tampa Bay, obviously, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. I loved them in the home spot yesterday against the Falcons. Didn't get the +3.5, didn't get there. They ended up losing by 5. They're catching 8.5 at Kansas City. Seems like great value, but if you're telling me the Chiefs are going to win, I'm going to say probably they're going to go to 9-0 because the Chiefs just find ways to win games, and I have no idea how they win those games. I just watched yesterday. We had the Raiders +10 and it cashed, but I'm just like, I'm watching this and I'm like, I get it. They're the back-to-back defending champions, and you're not going to hear an argument out of me. Andy Reid, best coach in the game. Pat Mahomes, best quarterback in football. Even though he's thrown a pick in every game and hasn't looked good, he's still the best quarterback in football, right? It's like Brady at the end. He's still the best quarterback. Travis Kelce, he's a spot guy, right? Not having a good year, but when he needs him, he finds him. Yesterday, he had a good game. Now they get D-Hop. They got the Xavier Worthy kid. I just look at the Chiefs. They got the pieces, but they're just not playing well. And I really attribute that to they're just bored. Like the Chiefs are just absolutely bored. They're like, yeah. We're easily going to win the division. We're aware. We're going to finish first in the AFC. We're going to have home field advantage throughout. Can we just hurry up and get to the divisional round? Can we get to our 2 playoff games? We're going to play the divisional round in the AFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. Can we just fast forward to those 3 games because we're going to be there anyway? That's the kind of look they have. And they always peak at the end of the year. Andy Reid does a very good job at that. And so, again, I'm not going to step out there and get in front of them by no means. But 8.5 is a lot of points. I think Minnesota rolls. I love the Vikings Sunday night. Switching over, we're going to run through a couple college lines. Again, Friday's show will be 9:30 Eastern time. We'll dive into each and every NFL game, stats, trends. I'll put a couple visible. The rest of them are going to be for anybody that signs up. Again, you can go get the first week free, breaktheboardsports.com. If you see there on the bottom, click subscribe to the YouTube. This game tomorrow night, New Mexico State, Florida International. I'm going to tell you already, I'm going to take New Mexico State plus 10. The line opened up Florida International my 7.5. It's up to 10. Give me the Aggies. I'm going to take New Mexico State plus 10. I want to do a little bit more work. Truth be told, I haven't did any work diving in yet. But Louisiana Lafayette plus 3.5 intrigues me, but I want to do the work. Wednesday, Liberty laying 1.5 against Jacksonville State. A lot of Jacksonville State money with Rich Rod and company. You want to look into that. Kennesaw State that just upset Liberty now goes to Western Kentucky. Kentucky laying 24.5. Thursday night, 1 game on the slate. Tulane laying 16.5 and getting 76% of the bets, 82% of the money. They're at Charlotte. Friday, really the big game of note, San Diego State catching 24 at Boise State. Boise State coming off that win against UNLV. And then here we go to Saturday. Couple big marquee games. Duke, a big cover for us this past weekend. Now they're catching 20 at Miami. Miami seems to be playing a little bit better, but I got to tell you, I like Duke catching this amount of points. Not sure if we're going to make it a play. Something I want to dive into. The other big one, Ohio State laying 4 against Penn State. I think this line's only going to go up. The cheapest place I seen it was at FanDuel last night, right? I checked all of them. I checked Fanatics. I checked MGM. I checked Caesars. I checked DraftKings. There were 2 online. Right now, the cheapest, I saw it last night, I don't know what it is this morning, was Ohio State money line minus $1.60. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a lifelong, there's 2 college football teams that I've followed my whole life. My Fighting Irish that are looking good, and my Penn State and Nittany Lions. Those have been the 2 since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I'm a diehard enough Penn State fan to realize we don't win these games, right? I don't know what the significance of Drew Allery went down Saturday night, and I thought Penn State was doomed. I actually took Wisconsin plus 7, gave it out as a play. Penn State caught fire and rolled. I didn't even watch the end of the game. Was at a friend's gathering and didn't even pay attention past, it was like middle of third quarter, and Penn State was up 5 or something like that. Penn State's not going to win this game. It's just not going to happen. Ohio State, I don't know if they cover 4, but run right now because it's only going to go up, folks. Ohio State money line for your lungs. For your lungs. There is no scenario that I can envision Ohio State losing this football game. I know James Franklin. I know Penn State. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to be late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Penn State's going to have the lead. And you're going to be like, John's going to have his second bad week in a row in college football. Not so fast. That's what they do. They lead Ohio State and they outplay them for 3.5 quarters. And every year since I can remember, they find a way, somehow, some way, to blow this game, and they'll do it again. On the road, 7-1 straight up their last 8 games on the road at Penn State. Penn State, you can say 12-2 straight up their last 14 at home. I don't really give a rip. They don't. Listen, when you're playing Minnesota and Maryland and, freaking Indiana up till this year. I don't want to hear about that home record. Penn State, there's 2 games you got to win. And look, remember how bad everybody's knocking on USC? Penn State was life and death out there. There is no situation, none, that they lose this game. So run out, $1.60, $1.70, whatever it is. Take Ohio State on the money line. They will not lose this game. Ohio State will stay with 1 loss. They will beat Penn State on Saturday. All right. Auburn laying 6.5 at home against Vanderbilt. Look, Auburn's offense looked good there against Kentucky. Kentucky got up 10-0, didn't score again. But you can't convince me Auburn's ain't good. Vanderbilt's looking much better. They even hung in there against Texas. Vanderbilt, if I can get 7, I think that's worth a peek-see. Indiana at Michigan State. Difficult spot here. Indiana laying 7. If this thing goes to 7.5 or 8, I like what Josh Smith's doing there at Michigan State. It doesn't show in the record, but they are getting better. I think you got to give some credence to them. And look at that. Another one. Hold your nose. You're going to be like, John, you've lost your mind. Yes, I have. Florida State plus 2.5 at home against UNC. Give me the Seminoles. If I can get a 3, I don't care if I got to lay $1.25, $1.30. Give me Florida State plus 3. I think they end up winning this game outright. They've only had 1 win on the season. Ohio State, Florida State, those so far 2 plays I absolutely love. Michigan, the line opened up 14. It's all the way up to 15.5. Ton of Oregon money coming in here. Navy opened up 14.5. It's down to 12.5. So a little bit of Rice money showing on that one. Arizona State at Oklahoma State. Again, Oklahoma State. I got 2 tickets, folks. And I don't have time to go through them. But it had the Liberty to win the WNBA title. And it had like 4 or 5 division winners in baseball, which I hit them all. And then I picked NFL teams to make the playoffs, college football teams to make the playoffs. Folks, I'm going to tell you, what I need to do is I need to screenshot them, black out the account numbers, blah, 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 just to show them to you. I have 2 parlays, and these are like 14, 15 layers. I just had some free bets the site gave me, so I threw like $100 on like 3 of them. Before the season, I was high on Oklahoma State. These 3 parlays, everything is going to hit. I'm looking at it, I'm like, they're all going to hit. Like all these NFL teams are at the top of their division, and college football playoff, it's like, there's a bunch of heavy dogs. It was like, or heavy favorites, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Georgia, blah, blah, blah. 1 brings back 166,000. 1 brings back 74,000, and 1 brings back 31,000, right? $266,000 I would have, but they all have one thing: Oklahoma State to make the college football playoff. And then I was like, okay, what about these other 2? Same scenario. I just changed the Big 12. 1 wins 73,000, 1 wins 44, but they both have Utah. And I didn't see, if you'd asked me, I was like, yeah, K-State's the only one I got to worry about. Utah and Oklahoma State cost me a ton of money. Just absolutely brutal. Louisville at Clemson. Clemson will be laying 10.5. That was 11.5. So a little bit of Louisville money has showed. USC at Washington. USC laying 3. If I can get a 3.5, give me Washington there. Wisconsin at Iowa. Iowa 3.5. Texas A&M at South Carolina. Be very careful, my friends. Texas A&M laying 3.5. I know they put in the backup quarterback. He looked great. Everybody's all big, ride it high. South Carolina has been a handful. This is a trap spot if I've ever seen one. I'm not saying I'm betting South Carolina. I'm just saying it's a trap spot. And then a big game with big ACC implications. Pittsburgh undefeated at 1-loss SMU. SMU laying 7.5. Hefty number. But those are the plays. Again, the first 2 jump off. Ohio State, I love them big. I love Ohio State big, big, big. Find them on the money line. Love them. And then I really like Florida State this week to beat North Carolina. So I'll definitely take the points. It's +2. Right now, I'd buy it up to like $1.25, $1.30 just to buy the whole point and get Florida State +3. Another game, I want to do some research and study, and I'll have all the notes up again. BreakTheBoardSports.com. Put in promo code Winners24, all caps, Winners24. That'll get you what you need. But I really like Syracuse here, +4.5 at home against Virginia Tech. Again, that Carrier Dome is just that's an electric place. Virginia Tech, they've underachieved a little bit. Want to see how that line moves along. Ole Miss also laying 6.5 at Arkansas. I feel like every time you got to go on the road in the SEC, it's a big matchup. So just to recap a little bit, tonight we're going to go double unit Yankees Steelers money line parlay plus $1.30. We're going to take the Yankees minus $1.44 single unit. In the ice, we're going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 105. We're going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning minus $1.35. In the NBA, we're going to take the Suns minus 155 on the money line. We're going to take the New York Knicks minus 142 on the money line. And we're going to take the Milwaukee Bucks at the Boston Celtics plus 9.5 for the Buckies. Again, go to breaktheboardsports.com. We'll have notes and stuff up throughout the week on different games. In addition to that, if you want any other plays, please join our community, breaktheboardsports.com. Notes to help your handicapping. Please send emails, send texts, any questions you have. Again, this was designed and built to help you become a better handicapper. We'll see you back here Friday, 9:30. You can follow us on X at BTB Sports 64. Until then, please click subscribe. We'll see you guys Friday. Take care. Have a great week. Happy handicapping, and God bless.